The spiritual energy on the planet is shifting very quickly as the coronavirus sweeps across the world. And get this new energy that's coming in on the heels of this pandemic, it's here to stay. It's very beautiful and it's very powerful, but we have to learn how to work with it. In this video, you are going to learn the 2 key features of this new energy and how you can better work with it so you can thrive in a post-coronavirus world. Coming up. This video is brought to you by the jewelry designer Ticlati. To get your own mala bead necklace like the one I'm wearing in this video, check out the description box where you'll find a 10% discount code. Hello, beautiful soul. This is Christina Lopes, the Heart Alchemist, here to help you open your heart, heal your past, and live with purpose. If you're new to my videos, click on that subscribe button and also on the bell so you get notified as soon as I publish new content. Now, I have been in quarantine and I've been spending a lot of time meditating, many hours meditating, and there's something interesting coming up. I've been trying to feel for the new energy that's on the planet. There is a new energy that's sweeping in on the heels of this pandemic, and it's going to be here to stay. And so I've been meditating a lot so I could feel the properties of the energy, understand it better, and receive some guidance on what the steps are moving forward. So that's what this video is about today. A while back, I shot another video. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description box. I shot another video on the 5th dimension and how we're all eventually moving into the 5th dimension and how to work with that energy. So this video is a little different though. I'm not really talking about the 5th dimension. I'm talking about a particular energy that's come in precisely with the coronavirus. So even if you watch this video 1 or 2 years later, we're still going to be under the influence of this energy, because from my meditations and from the intuitive guidance that I have been receiving, this energy is really here to stay. It's ushering in really a new era on the planet. And so that's why I'm shooting this video, so we can all learn how to work with this energy, because if you know how to work with this energy, you really are going to thrive when this quarantine is over and when this coronavirus is gone. You're going to thrive if you know how to work with this energy. Once you finish watching this video, let me know in the comments below if you've been feeling this new energy too during this coronavirus pandemic. Have you been feeling a change in energy? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's get started with the 2 key features. I'm going to talk about the 2 key features first, and then in the second part of the video, I'm going to talk about some ways for you to cultivate and work with the energy. So on to part 1, and that is the 2 key features of this energy that have been really, really dominant, and I want to talk about those first. The first key feature is that there is a feminine predominance in the energy. Okay, now, before I get into the details of what that means, I want to leave a little side note, ding ding. Side note, when I'm talking about feminine and masculine energies, yin and yang, I'm not talking about men and women, okay? So this is not pertaining to gender. So I want to leave this side note here, because feminine and masculine energies, yin and yang, they exist within you, okay? So this isn't about men versus women, okay? This is about the energy balance that's occurring within you, the balance between yin and yang, which exists in all of the universe. There's always a play on yin and yang. And so those energies exist first within you, okay? Now, when it comes to gender, sure, there are a lot of men that are masculine dominant, and there are a lot of women that are also masculine dominant. That's one of the things I'm talking about. So your gender is completely irrelevant to the predominance of energy that you have in you. You could be a woman with predominance of masculine energy, and you could be a man with a predominance of feminine energy. So again, the energies yin and yang have nothing to do with gender. Okay, so let's get that clear before I get into this feature. All right, so back to the feature, feminine predominance. All right. So it's not a coincidence that we're having a pandemic where it's this interesting bug that basically forces you
to stop. It forces you to be indoors. It forces you to be on your own. It forces you to just, you can't really, your freedoms are all lost. This isn't a coincidence from a spiritual perspective, okay? So what's happening here is this new energy that's coming in, it has a feminine predominance to it. And that means that moving forward, what this energy is asking of us is that we learn to use our feminine side and we learn to live in an energy where there is feminine predominance moving forward. And this is really interesting and this is really new, okay? Because we've been in masculine predominance for thousands of years. And this pandemic, what it's doing, it's literally turning the energy. It's like a 180 in the energy. And so it's occurring really rapidly. And that's why it's going to take us a little bit of time to get used to this, to get used to this whole, feminine predominance. What does that even mean? In meditation, the numbers that I've been receiving, and I actually sat with this for a while and I asked my guides if this was accurate, because the numbers I was receiving was 70-30, so 70% feminine predominance to 30% masculine energy, okay? Now, this is really interesting because it's so different from what we're used to. We're used to going out there and acting. We're used to hustling. We're used to going out there and doing. That's really what our lives have been like, again, for thousands of years. And so now what this energy is doing, it's saying, nope, you're going to stop moving. This little pandemic is going to come in. It's going to close airports. You're not going to be able to leave your house. You're not going to be able to work normally. And so what this all did was, this is an acceleration that's bringing in that new energy. We've been forced, whether we like it or not, we've really been forced in these days that we've been in quarantine. If you've been in quarantine or in isolation, we've really been forced to come out of that masculine energy and into feminine energy. It's been a crash course in this type of energy. Now, what seems really interesting about this mixture, and I'm going to get into the more of the details on feminine versus masculine a little bit later on when I give you some recommendations on how to work with this energy. But what's really interesting, one of the dominant features of feminine energy is that it's non-action. And one of the dominant features of masculine energy is that that's the energy. Yang is the energy of action, okay? Yin is the energy of non-action. But what was interesting was in my meditations, what I was receiving is at the same time that this new energy is predominantly feminine, so 70-30%, 70%, 30%, it's feminine dominance, but at the same time, I was receiving guidance that if you know how to work with this energy, you will be able to manifest much more powerfully than you did before, which seems really counterintuitive, right? If yang energy is the energy of action and yin is the energy of non-action, then how is it that I can materialize more powerfully or manifest in the world more powerfully if I'm sitting 70% in my feminine energy? That doesn't make sense, right? But it does. It does make sense. And the reason that it makes sense is that when you flip into feminine predominant energy, what you're doing is you're allowing that intuitive, the feminine is the intuitive, the feminine is non-action, the feminine is the feeler, the feminine is the heart, the feminine is patient, she's still, okay? And the feminine, here's the important ding ding here, the feminine is the component or the energy that contains the compass for your life, okay? Now, I'm going to give you an illustration so that you know why it is that when you know how to work with this energy predominance in feminine, you're going to be able to manifest much more powerfully in the world. Here's a perfect example. So let's pretend that I grab you and let's use gender for just a moment. Okay, let's use gender for just a moment to illustrate this. Let's say I grab you and there's a man and there's a woman and I drop you two in a forest, okay? Now, when I drop you in a forest, let's say that the feminine part of you, the woman part of you, has the compass and the man has the machete. Okay, so the masculine has the machete, all right? I drop you in a forest, you have no idea where you are, there are no paths, there's nothing, you're just in the thick of a forest, okay? Working with this energy means that the masculine turns to the feminine and says, where do we go? He's got the machete, right? But she's got the compass. She's got the compass. She has the map. She has the blueprint on where to go. He's got the machete. So he turns to her and he says, okay, you got the compass. Where do we go? Tell me where to go. She looks at her compass and she says, we go that way. As soon as she says we go that way, then the masculine grabs his machete and starts hacking away at the forest to make a path for the both of them to go, okay? You see how powerful this is? He waits for the feminine to say, what direction do I go in? And then he uses his machete to hack a path and open way for them to go. Now, I want you to notice the difference between this is the new energy and how the new energy operates, the difference between this and the energy that we have been operating under for thousands of years, which is an energy of masculine dominance with complete and utter ignoring of the feminine. And many times, not just ignoring, but suppressing of the feminine, okay? So this is what that energy would look like. It would be like me dropping the two of you again in a forest, and the woman has the compass, the feminine has the compass, but the masculine doesn't listen to her. The masculine's like, you just shut up right there. I don't give a crap that you have your compass. Just shut up. I got the machete. I'm the one that's going to get us out of here. And the masculine just starts hacking away, and he hacks a path, but he's going in the wrong direction. And so let's say he spends enormous amounts of time hacking a path in one direction, but then he gets there and he's like, I'm going in the wrong direction. And the feminine goes, well, I could have told you that if you would have listened to me. And so now they have to backtrack all the way back and start again. Okay? Do you see this? Do you see why it is that when the masculine disregards the feminine, what he ends up doing is he acts a lot in the world, but a lot of those actions are not guided by his intuition. They're not guided by his feminine side. And so they're misdirected energies and they end up destroying a lot of things that are unnecessary. For example, the forest. There's no need to be hacking up the whole forest. If you know where you're going, you can just hack one path and leave the rest of the forest intact, okay? But when the masculine is completely not connected with his feminine, that's what has led to a lot of destruction on the planet. It's action that's not coming from intuition, and action that doesn't come from intuition can lead you in very, very contorted and difficult paths, okay? So this story that I just illustrated to you is going to give you a very strong image of why it is that in this new energy, even though it's 70% feminine predominant, you're still going to get a lot more things done in the physical world because you're now going to be doing them from a position of intuition, from a position of consulting your inner compass first, and then you act. When you do that, when the masculine acts only after receiving the guidance from his feminine side, when you act, that one action is going to be worth 20 actions that the masculine did before all by himself, okay? So I hope that this helps you understand how, yes, at the same time that this new energy is coming in with a feminine predominance, and that's the way it's going to continue, it doesn't mean that you're going to stop doing things in your life. It just means that now, because you're going to be so connected to that feminine side, and I'm going to teach you how to do that in a little bit, because you're going to be so connected to your feminine side, everything that your masculine does do when he does act is going to be tenfold. It's going to be so powerful. So you'll end up acting less, you'll end up going more in alignment, but when you do act, boom, it's going to be powerful stuff. Okay, on to feature 2, and that is deep groundedness. Now, if you've been watching a lot of my videos, you know I talk about groundedness a lot. So you could probably be rolling your eyes right now saying, oh my God, you're talking about groundedness again. But this is a different groundedness, okay? So this deep groundedness is much deeper than anything I've ever talked about before, okay? So here goes something new that you've never seen in any of my other videos. All right, so the deep groundedness that I've been receiving it's a groundedness that goes far beyond anything that we've been working with, the majority of us have been working with on planet Earth, okay? And to illustrate this, I'm going to show you, if you've never seen a picture of the 7 chakras, here it is. Okay, so this is the 7 chakra system that's talked about in a lot of traditions, not just Hindu traditions, but a lot of traditions, just even shamanic traditions have been talking about the 7 chakra system for a really long time. So these are the 7 main chakras in your body. But what's happening with this new energy is a lot more of us are having more chakras activated. These 7 chakras, these aren't the only ones you have. You have many, many chakras. Some teachers say thousands. I don't know. I haven't counted that far. But you have many, many chakras. And this new energy that's coming on the planet, it's activating more of them. Okay. So what's being very activated right now? Here's the image of the 12 chakra system. So we're expanding from 7 to 12 chakras. And there's one particular chakra in this 12 chakra system that's being highly activated right now. And it's what's called chakra 0. It's the chakra that's called the Earth Star chakra. Okay. So this chakra is 1 to 2 feet below your feet, actually into the ground, okay? So this is not the first chakra. This isn't your base chakra, right? I've talked about the base chakra as being another chakra that's grounding, but this one isn't the base chakra. The Earth Star, the 12 chakra system, those extra chakras beyond your 7 chakras, they are chakras that are outside of the body. So they're not as connected as your 7 chakra system is with your organs and your physical body, okay? Your 7 chakra system is very connected to your organs and to your physical body. The other chakras are outside of your body and they are an expanded form of your energy system, and so they're not as connected to your physical body. The Earth Star chakra, or chakra 0, as some of them call it, chakra 0, it comes before the first chakra. That is located 1 to 2 feet below your actual physical feet. It goes into the ground, into Mother Earth, okay? Now, what I've been shown is that this chakra is activating very powerfully right now. And it may seem like, what does this have to do with the first feature? You know, feminine predominance, what does this have to do with it? But it does. This has a feminine tinge to it also. Because what it's doing is when your Earth Star chakra activates, that is your connection to who? Mother Earth. That's your connection to the planet. And the planet herself, she's a sentient being, and she's a sentient being with a feminine spirit, with a feminine energy predominance. So that Earth Star chakra, it's activating in us. And what that activation is doing is it's grounding us more into the planet, which is so beautiful. So the image that I'm getting is that this activation of the Earth Star chakra, it's occurring to help us. The planet is helping us because she knows that this 180 that we're going through right now, from going from a masculine predominant energy to feminine predominant energy, this is a complete 180 in a matter of maybe months or weeks even, right? Because we can say that this energy is coming in very strongly on the heels of this pandemic. And as of the shooting of this video, this pandemic has been around for a few weeks, maybe a couple of months when it started in China, maybe more actually than a couple of months. But let's say 3 months to a few weeks, that's the time frame as of the shooting of this video that the pandemic has started. And so that's pretty much the time frame that new energy has come in. So that's a 180. It's a huge shift in energy that's occurring very rapidly. And so it's beautiful that the Earth Star chakra is being activated, because what it's doing is our spirit guides, the universe, the planet, everybody knows that when we go through tremendous shifts very quickly, it could be really jarring on our systems and it could be very difficult for us to adapt. And so the activation of the Earth Star chakra is very beautiful. It's the planet helping us anchor into these new energies. She's helping to ground us, and she's helping to ground us more deeply, all right? So this Earth Star chakra, it's activating on its own as a part of this energy shift, but now that you know that it's activating, I'm going to help you go into how to work with this energy, and working with the Earth Star chakra is going to be one of them. But that's in just a little bit. Right after I finish talking about this, I'm going to go into those recommendations. But that's another key feature that's occurring right now, Earth Star chakra activating, which means that you are now going to ground more. So even though you're expanding and you're evolving, you're also grounding more like the deep roots of an old tree. I like to use the image of a tree to symbolize the ascension and evolution process, because really a tree is only as strong, so a tree can only grow as high as her roots grow deep. You've never seen an old tree anywhere in the world that's really tall but has shallow roots. That never happens because the tree would topple. So as a tree grows up, it also grows down. And that's what's happening to us. As we're growing up, we're also growing down into the earth. We're rooting more into the earth, and the earth is helping us kind of, go through this complete 180 in energy, because she knows that this is really jarring on us and this is really difficult for us. And so we're loved so much that we're provided with so much support. Even when we think we're alone and we think we're just out here and nobody really cares about us, we're so loved and we're so supported. And right now we are being very, very supported by Mother Earth. Even if you can think, well, Mother Earth hates me right now, she's sending a pandemic, she must hate me. That's not really what's happening at all. Mother Earth, this beautiful planet, loves you, cherishes you, and she evolves with you, okay? So that's the second feature of this new energy. Okay, on to the second part of the video, and that is how to thrive in this new energy. So now that you know the two key features of this energy, I'm going to give you some recommendations so that you can start working with this energy, so that when this coronavirus ends, you're going to come out of the gates roaring. You're going to know how to work with this energy. You're going to understand it. You're going to have it balanced within you. You're going to know how to calibrate yourself to meet the energy. Because here's the thing. Let me leave a little side note, a ding ding here. If when this quarantine ends, when this coronavirus pandemic ends, if you come out of the gates stubbornly stuck on masculine dominance, guess what's going to happen? Okay? Not great things are going to happen, because literally what is happening in this quarantine and in this pandemic is the planet has reset her energy. And that means that when the pandemic ends, you've got to come out of the gates understanding that the energy has been reset and that you now have to work with new energy. And if you come out of the gates working with old energy, if you stubbornly hold on to that masculine dominance, you're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to be working against the energy. It's going to be like rowing up a stream. Don't row up a stream. There's no way. You're not going to go anywhere, and you're not going to win against a stream, okay? And I want to leave another side note here too, because it's popping up in my mind right now. Now, when we're talking about why is you may be asking yourself, why is the energy moving into predominant feminine energy? Well, the reason that it's doing that is because energy evolves in a pendulum, okay? And so the pendulum has been swinging for a really long time towards masculine predominance, all right? And it's been to an extreme, really. It's been to such an extreme that we've almost killed ourselves down here multiple times, whether through nuclear warfare, world wars. We've done a lot of harm on the planet in that masculine predominance. Not all bad. We've done great things too. So I want to point that out. Yang energy isn't bad. Masculine energy isn't bad. It's a beautiful energy of action. We all need it. But it's been imbalanced to an extreme for thousands of years on this planet. And so as a pendulum, what happens to a pendulum is now it's swinging the other way, okay? Now, as it's swinging, if we work with this energy, it's going to eventually keep swinging. The pendulum keeps swinging, and then eventually it rests in the middle, okay? And right now, as of, the lifetime that you're watching this video in, because I think this is going to be happening for the rest of my lifetime, but the pendulum is now swinging towards feminine predominance so that things begin to equalize. Okay, maybe when we come back in a next lifetime, the pendulum will be nice and still, and we'll all be perfectly balanced in our masculine and feminine energy. But right now, this is what we're working with. Okay, so I wanted to leave that side note. Okay, now here we go to the recommendations. The first one is to practice grounding. All right, now I've said this in multiple videos before. I've talked about grounding. I've talked about taking your shoes off and earthing, just putting your feet on the ground. I've talked about going hiking, being in nature. I've talked about doing body work, dancing. I've talked about a lot of grounding activities in my videos before, but I want to leave you with an extra one because, again, we're talking about grounding in a very different way for this video. We're talking about the Earth Star grounding, okay? So I'm going to leave you with a visualization exercise that I use that works really well to activate and work with your Earth Star chakra, okay? So what you're going to do is you are just going to sit, close your eyes, sit in meditation. And what you're going to do is you are going to begin to visualize your first chakra. That's in your pubic area. So the tip of your spine, pubic area, that's where the first chakra is housed. And you can start visualizing it like this beautiful, bright red sun. The color of the first chakra is red, okay? You can start visualizing that. And then what you're going to do is you are going to visualize roots, almost like tree roots, coming out of your first chakra, and they're going to go through the floor that you're sitting on, and those roots are just going to go down through the floor of your house or wherever you're meditating, through the floor. It's going to go into Mother Earth. It's going to start cutting through the layers of Mother Earth until it reaches the Earth Star Chakra, which, remember, is about 1 to 2 feet beneath the ground, okay? So what's going to happen is you're going to visualize these roots. Now these roots, they don't look like tree roots. They're roots, you can kind of visualize them like tree roots, but they're made out of light, okay? They're pure light. Those roots are then going to grow from the first chakra slowly through the floor down into Mother Earth, and they're going to connect to your Earth chakra, and they're going to anchor in your Earth chakra. So at the end of the visualization, you're going to be able to see your first chakra and your Earth chakra. They're going to be connected with these beautiful roots made out of light, okay? And so just sit with that visualization. You can hold that visualization for as long as you want. So if you want to do a 20-minute meditation where you're visualizing the roots go into the Earth Star Chakra and then you're holding your vision on the Earth Star Chakra, that's a wonderful thing to do, okay? Because you got to remember, the more that you hold your intention to connect to the Earth chakra, the more you activate it. Pure intention, that's another recommendation. So the first one was this visualization exercise. The second recommendation on how to ground and how to work with the Earth Star Chakra is just pure intention. Okay, because the moment that you intend to connect to your Earth Star Chakra, if you didn't know what an Earth Star Chakra was before I talked about it, you do know it now, and the knowing creates that energy flow. Once you know something, you can't unknow it. So it creates that intention, that awareness creates energy flow, and it starts to activate the Earth Chakra just by the power of your intention. So when you don't have time to do that visualization exercise, you could just wake up, be drinking some coffee in your kitchen, standing up, and you could literally just visualize your Earth Chakra below your feet, and you can just say, today's my intention to connect with my Earth Chakra, with my Earth Star Chakra, okay? So pure intention is another great way of activating this chakra. You want to do these deep grounding exercises that go well beyond the regular grounding exercise that I usually talk about. You can keep doing the grounding exercises because any grounding exercise will help with the Earth Star Chakra, but add these extra ones, these extra two that I just talked about right now, the visualization and the pure intention. Add these two to your practice moving forward so that you could ground deeper and deeper than you ever have before. Okay, the second recommendation is to connect to your feminine. So this is where I'm going to go into a little bit more of the properties and the characteristics of feminine energy, of yin energy. Obviously, if this is a feminine predominant energy, you're going to have to learn how to work with your feminine energy, how to strengthen the feminine side, especially if you're really masculine dominant. Because if you're really yang dominant, which is the majority of us, by the way, the majority of us are yang dominant. We have been taught in our culture, in our society, to just do. A life of success still in our 3D reality is considered a life of doing. That's what success means. More things to do. Look at all that I've done. Okay, that's what's considered success in our reality right now. And so we are all programmed, whether we're men or women, we're all programmed to be excessively in masculine energy. So now you're going to have to untrain that and you're going to have to learn how to work with feminine energy. So I'm going to give you some of the properties of feminine energy so that you understand her a little bit better, okay? So feminine energy is the energy of non-action. Yang, masculine is action. Feminine is non-action. Feminine is the energy of stillness, of silence. It's the energy of intuition. It's the energy of spaciousness. The feminine energy is formless. The feminine energy is pure potential. Okay? So the masculine is the one that has the structure and the action and all of that. But the feminine is formless. The feminine energy is pure potential. And the image that I use with clients, I use this with clients all of the time. And so I'm going to use this image for you too so that you can understand the play of feminine and masculine energy and how different they are. It's the image that I give is, I don't know if you've ever been to a pottery class or if you've seen a pottery class in a video where they have those turntables. Okay, so the table's turning really fast and then the artist grabs a lump of clay and they put a lump of clay on the turntable as it's turning, and then they start molding it into a vase or a pot or whatever, okay? So visualize this image. The lump of clay that the artist grabs and puts on the turntable, that is feminine energy, okay? The lump of clay is feminine energy. What is that? It's just pure potential. It's clay, but it's formless. There's nothing there. It's just a lump. Okay, that pure formless potential, all right? Now that lump of clay has the potential to become a vase, a cup, a whatever, a plate. It has the potential to become a lot of things, but at the moment that the artist throws it on the turntable, it's nothing but a lump of clay. The moment that the artist grabs his or her hands and puts his or her hands to the clay and starts making a pot out of it, that is masculine energy, okay? So masculine energy gives form and structure to the formless, okay? Masculine energy gives structure to the feminine, okay? So the feminine is boundless, it's limitless, there's no boundaries on the feminine. She is free, she's limitless, she's pure potential, and then the masculine comes in and gives structure and form to her as necessary, okay? So this is a good image for you to understand how feminine and masculine energies play and how you have to be in your feminine energy, because here's the thing. When the artist grabs that lump of clay and puts it on the turntable, she knows what she wants to make, right? So she's been thinking about what she wants to make. Maybe I'm going to make a vase today, and she's been pondering it and thinking about how she wants to make the vase and how she wants it to look like. This is all feminine energy, pure imagination, potential, possibility. Okay, so the artist has been thinking about this, pondering this, feeling this, so that by the time she puts her hands to the clay, she already knows she wants to make a vase out of it that day, okay? She doesn't just throw the clay and it's just like, oh, let me just move around with my hands and I'll figure it out as I'm going. No, that's not how she does it. That's not how an artist works. So this beautiful, pure, the ability for the artist to be in this state of possibility, of imagination, before she puts her hands to the clay, this is what you're going to have to learn, okay? Remember the 70-30%. You're going to have to learn to be in a state of non-action, of stillness, of connection with your heart. The heart is also the feminine portal. Connection with your heart. Heart is feminine, mind masculine. Connection with your heart, understanding your intuition, understanding what she's saying to you, where she wants to go, what she wants to do with your life, what her intuition is telling her. You have to sit with that pure potential. You have to sit with that formlessness, with that imagination, with that possibility, with the dreaming. You have to sit with that possibility 70% of the time. So this is why you have to learn. So a lot of meditation, a lot of contemplation, a lot of just breathing and being still and being spacious. Okay, this is how you connect with feminine energy. The feminine energy is also the nurturer, she's the mothering energy, the nurturer, the carer. Okay, so this is feminine energy. You're going to have to learn how to play with her, how to be with her for longer periods of time, because you're going to have to know her really well so that you understand what she's saying to you, and then the masculine acts. Okay, when she's figured out what she wants to do, the masculine then acts from that place of intuition. Recommendation 3 is to calm the masculine energy. And I say this laughing because this is something that I've had to learn to do too, because I was, up until now, I was just going to say I am a yang dominant person. But you see, I'm even reformulating how I think about myself, because what's happening to me and what's happening to all of us that's working with all the people that are working with this energy, all light workers are being called to work with this energy, because light workers are usually the first souls that learn new things and take on the energy of that new things before we then teach others how to do that. Okay, so light workers are very much usually the ones that are on the front lines of going through spiritual changes that they then domino down to others. Okay, so all light workers are being asked to work with this energy. And what's really interesting is this third recommendation. I'm laughing because I've been struggling a little bit with it myself, because up until now I've been yang dominant. I'm a very action-oriented person. And so in this quarantine, there have been days where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm getting restless. Okay, so I was feeling myself getting restless. Oh my God, I can't do my regular things. I can't go running. I can't be outside. I can't go to the beach. I love going to the beach. I can't do all these things. My freedoms are being curtailed. Help! That's what the masculine does. The masculine is struggling a little bit. The masculine energy is very restless. The masculine energy can even be angry. There are a lot of people that are feeling anger right now in this quarantine, and the reason that they're feeling angry is because the masculine is pissed off. The masculine energy is pissed off because he's been forced to stop, okay? And so, and again, you have to remember, we have been in yang dominant energy. The masculine has been in charge for thousands of years. So this predominance has been passed on generation to generation to generation. So now we're doing a 180 and we're asking the masculine to stand down, to quiet down, to become still. And that's not easy, okay? So what's been working for me is just very simple, loving, soothing mantras. So I'll put my hand on my heart and I'll just say, everything's okay. Everything is okay. It's just the feminine is now leading the way, but everything is fine. You can relax. You can just relax. You don't have anything to do right now. Just relax. So I've been speaking in a very loving way to my masculine energy, and that's really been helping the masculine calm down, disarm, and come into a position of being more relaxed. Being more relaxed with this new energy is essential, because otherwise the masculine energy is going to keep tugging at you and it's going to keep pulling you into action. And again, in this new energy, just going around, doing things for doing is not going to get you good places. Okay. So you have to train that masculine to calm, to be still, to come back. Okay. To be very connected to the feminine, all right? So calming the masculine energy is essential right now. The fourth and last recommendation is to unite feminine and masculine energies. Now, I'm sure that you've seen the Taoist symbol of yin and yang. If you haven't seen it, here it is popping up. This symbol is all over the world, so I'm sure you've seen it. And this is a beautiful depiction of what masculine and feminine energy are. It's also been a beautiful depiction of how the two energies play with each other. So one side of this circle is black, one side of this circle is white. Black is the yin energy, white is the yang energy, the masculine energy. But what's beautiful about this image is that it's already telling us Taoist tradition is beautiful, beautiful in the explanation of yin and yang. What this circle is telling us is within the white part of the circle, there's a black dot. Within the black part of the circle, there's a white dot. And what that's telling us is that the masculine contains the feminine and the feminine contains the masculine, okay? So this is a beautiful depiction of the interdependence of the two energies. But I want to go even further than this Taoist symbol, because I think that's where we're going now. In unity consciousness, which is where we're going, heart-centered consciousness, when you get to the heart, duality dissolves. Unity comes up and duality dissolves. That means black and white cease to exist, up and down cease to exist, hot and cold cease. Duality ceases to exist, and it's just union. And so where we're going moving forward is that this symbol, this Taoist symbol that's black and white, the way that I visualize that in my mind's eye is that it's turning into just a gray circle. So the borders of the masculine and the feminine, the limits between them are disappearing, and they are basically merging together. That's why they're becoming this gray circle, okay? And the way that you can work with this energy in merging the two of them. And what does it mean to merge? It means that the masculine will now contain feminine characteristics and the feminine contains the masculine characteristics, and there are no boundaries between them, okay? There are no boundaries between them. They merge completely. So the masculine becomes quiet, which is, right, up until now, it's up until now been a characteristic of the feminine. The feminine will become more structured, right? Structure was a masculine characteristic before, but when you merge, they take on the characteristics of each other, okay? And a beautiful way of uniting your feminine and masculine energy, and this is really important work to do, because you may not realize, but your feminine and your masculine energy, they may be at war with each other. They may be completely disconnected. A lot to do with all of these templatings that we've had across many lifetimes, where women have been suppressed, the feminine energy has been poo-pooed and just completely relegated to second stage. The masculine energy has been up here, and so the masculine energy has kind of been denigrating the feminine energy. The feminine energy has also taken on shadow characteristics like manipulation and competition and all kinds of other things. So this imbalance has created a lot of shadow features in both energies that we're now cleaning up. Okay. And so the union of these two energies within you is really important in moving forward and working with this energy. So I'm going to give you a really simple technique to do this. And it's a technique that I use and I love to use. It's a technique where you're just going to sit in meditation. And what you're going to do is you are going to bring your two hands together like this. You're just going to bring your two hands together. Now, your left hand, your left side is the feminine, the right side is the masculine. Sometimes it shifts, but that's for a whole other conversation. But let's just say for right now, the purposes of this conversation, left is your feminine, right is your masculine. And you're going to unite your two hands, almost like they're holding hands, okay? You're going to unite your two hands, and then you're going to hold them against your heart, against your sternum, okay? You're going to hold them against your heart, and you're going to close your eyes. This is in a meditation position. You're going to close your eyes, and you can use loving mantras. The mantra that I love to use during this meditation is, I just keep repeating, my feminine and masculine are merging. My feminine and masculine are merging. Or you can say, I unite my feminine and masculine in love. I love that mantra also. I unite my feminine and my masculine in love. And you just keep holding your hands and you hold them against your heart. There's a reason you're holding your hands against your heart. Remember, this is the chakra of unity consciousness. This is where duality disappears. So there's the praying mudra that's used a lot across the world. This praying mudra here, where your hands are against the heart. This isn't a coincidence. This is a popular mudra, or mudra is a hand position. This is a popular mudra on purpose. So we're doing the same thing. It's just our hands are interlocked like this, and we're holding them against our heart, and we're repeating this. I unite my feminine and my masculine in love. I love this mantra so much. And you just keep repeating it mentally or out loud if you want to. You can have some meditation music, however you want to do this. And you're going to do this for a while, especially do this exercise, especially right now if you're still in quarantine and your masculine energy is really restless and you feel like you want to climb up the walls and you're just so frustrated. If you're restless and frustrated, it's because your masculine is not wanting to accept the guidance of the feminine. Okay, so there's still a little bit of tearing inside of you. So if you're feeling restless, you're going to do this exercise more throughout the day. And eventually what's going to happen is these two energies are going to merge. And when they merge, there's going to be no more tug of war. They're going to be working together in perfect unison. So I hope you enjoy this exercise. Okay, but now I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below if you are feeling this new energy that I just talked about in this video. Let me know in the comments below. Click here to subscribe to my channel, or head over to my website and take my heart quiz to figure out if your heart's blocked. And don't forget that video that I talked about in the beginning of this video about the fifth dimension. Go over to that video so you can go deeper on what the fifth dimension is and how you can work with it. All right, beautiful soul, that's it for me. I am out.